Hey there, folks. Today I'm going to talk about the reasons why Gen X is such a bitter generation. What we're bitter and cynical and angry about. This is a non exhaustive list of just whatever I can think of. It starts with something very foundational that nobody seems to talk about. And that is that we were the first generation to grow up without a full-time parent. The boomers, they had mom at home, for better or for worse. But there was always a parent there available for them, more or less 24/7. We didn't have that. That's why it was kind of a big deal that we were the latchkey generation, because well, you didn't need to have your own key and let yourself into the house because mom was already there if you were a boomer and the generations previous to that. And I think that left a really big impression on us. I think that in a very, very dim and subconscious way, we have a sense of having lost something. We look at things from previous eras, like, say, Leave It to Beaver or something like that, and yeah, we're cynical and snarky about it, but really, part of us is thinking, why is that not the world I got? Why did I not get this world of prosperity and a high standard of living and being able to support a family with one job, and all the other great stuff that was there when I was born but went away somehow? Oh, that's right. The greedy boomers decided that they wanted more for them and less for us. You see why we're bitter? We were raised by the most self-absorbed, self-centered, careless generation ever. A generation of boomers that just could not comprehend the idea of less for them in order for their children to have just even the minimum. They grew up doing whatever the hell they wanted. Sometimes, dressing it up in fancy language like, oh, I had to go find myself. But really, it's just me, 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 me. It's all about me. That's why they invented this wonderfully, absolutely nightmarishly horrible phrase, quality time. The yuppies of the 80s, the ones that fucking raised us, they talked about spending quality time with their kids because they knew they weren't spending quantity time with their kids. So they fooled themselves into thinking that spending like an hour here and half an hour there with their kids, at least half paying attention to them, that was just as good because it was quality time. Somehow this time they were spending with their children was just such a higher quality that the net amount of parenting somehow evened out. Was this true? No. It was obviously incredibly, staggeringly untrue. But it didn't matter to them because it suited their careerist ambitions to just think that whatever crumbs just happen to fall off the table will be enough for the children. So yeah, we're fucking bitter. We grew up without the full-time parent, and that's why we were raised by television. Television, unlike our parents, was always there. Another reason we're bitter, and this is related to a previous one, is that we inherited a world the boomers had broken. And unfortunately, we were not the generation to fix it. We pushed for, a better world, but for the most part, we just sort of grit our teeth and dealt with things as they were. We just took as our basic assumption that the world is shit, and all you can do is just learn to deal with it. That's why when the millennials came along, we started talking about, well, they'll be the generation that'll save the world. No pressure, kids. We're good at a lot of things, but idealistic striving is definitely not one of them. So yeah, a broken and busted world. A lot of us grew up. Our formative years were spent in the 70s, and the 70s were a time of massive disillusionment when peace, love, and harmony turned into sex, drugs, and overdoses. Like the entire 70s was the crash after the 60s, and we spent our early childhoods amidst this cultural wreckage. A world where, of course, rock stars die of overdoses. Of course, everything is polluted. Of course, everything sucks. Of course, everything is corporate and fake. And, of course, we don't trust anybody. We don't trust big anything. Big government, big church, big corporations, big organizations. I don't trust any of those. What's to trust? So yeah, we're bitter. In fact, I'm going to end this now because I get the feeling it's gone on quite a long time. But being a Gen Xer and happening to be a fairly articulate one, I could probably go on for hours. But I guess that's all for me for today, folks. I will talk to you nice people again tomorrow. Bye-bye.